Hi, my name is Joseph Hammond. I'm a professional illustrator, and in this video, I'm going to be drawing a lion. I just want to remind you, if you liked the video, I'd really appreciate it if you can hit the like button and subscribe. It would really help me out. Thank you. I'm going to emphasize in this drawing the line drawing. The line drawing is the drawing that goes underneath the value drawing. Okay, so in this, the way I started this drawing is I drew a large oval, and inside that large oval, I drew a smaller oval. Okay, I split the drawing in half, so up vertically. And I measured off and found where the center point was, and that was where the eyes are going to be going. Okay, so I draw a horizontal line for the eyes, and then I measure from the eyes down to the bottom of the oval, and split that in half, and that's going to give me the measurement where the nose is going to go. I do the same thing for the mouth. Okay, now that I've established where my eyes, nose, and mouth is going to go, I have to figure out how wide the face is going to be. And so I figured it's going to be about 6 eyes wide by looking at my reference material. And so I measured out 6 eyes, and I was able to distinguish where my outside edge on the right was going to be. And also the one on the left. But the one on the right is going to be, I think it's going to be the stronger edge. It's, you're going to have one strong edge and you're going to have another one that is not quite so strong. The one on the left is going to be in shadow. The one on the right is going to be out in the light. So at this point, I'm drawing all in straight lines, okay, to block in the shapes. I want to be able to block in where the nose goes, where the upper jaw is, the upper lip is, where my nose structure that goes back, so those are all going to be blocked in with straight lines. Okay, but I wanted to go over that outside edge. Drawing an edge, it is not like drawing a contour drawing. A contour drawing is one continuous line that goes, from the starts at the top and goes down and out and around like that, and it ends up as one solid line. Well, in this case here, the way you're going to be drawing it, or the way I draw it, is you go up the shape of that outside edge, and then you go into the form, okay? Your lines always go into the form, outside edge, in. The next one will go outside edge, in. And the reason why I told you to start at the bottom of the upper lip and work your way up is the bottom of the upper lip there is the closest to me, okay? Everything else that is going back is farther back in space. And when you draw the lines that go up and around, what you're doing is creating the illusion that one shape is in front of the other shape. And you want it to look like the upper lip and the nose is in front, and the eyes are further back. The forehead, where the hairline is going to be, is even farther back because his forehead slopes back. And then your ears are even farther back than that. Okay. Now, you're not going to be able to do that with values. Your values are your lights and your darks. Okay, you're going to be doing that in the final drawing. In this drawing, it's going to be all lines. So you're going to have to be able to show, things coming forward and things going back by only using a line. Okay, and you do the same thing with the nostril, the muzzle there. And the muzzle is going to be like what I'm drawing there. It's going to be like a block sitting on his face going back in space. All right, so when something goes back in space, your lines, like I was saying, on your edges are going to go up and in. But the ellipses are little round circles, sort of figure like he's got rings on his nose there, okay? The angle of the ellipse is going to be different when something's going back as something's going forward. When something's going back, the ellipses are going to be, the top of the ellipse is going to be forward, and the bottom of the ellipses are going to be more closer to you. Okay, so I mean, the top of the ellipse is going back, the bottom's coming forward. And you draw the round circles there, all the way up to the top, and that's going to create a sense of foreshortening. Okay, that is like an arm. If somebody's pointing an arm at you and it's almost directly at you, you're not going to think, okay, oh wow, that guy's got an arm that is only 6 inches long. You know, you're going to think, okay, the reason why his arm looks so short is because it's coming towards me. And the way you show that is through ellipses, little round circles that go around that arm. And that will create this sense of foreshortening. But anyhow, back to measuring. Measuring, the way I figure shapes out is by I draw smaller shapes inside the larger shape. Okay, and it sort of creates a faceting effect. The drawing will look more like a diamond, or have like little facets on it, and that is how you create form or mass with these little shapes here, is by lines. Okay, so if the shape is coming forward, I draw a line there at the breaking point where, you know, the shape starts to go back into space. And then that's how you create all these little shapes like up above his eye there. And that'll tell me also, by looking at the shape and seeing what the size and the shape is, I can figure out how far forward, how far the top of his hairline is going to be. And that also tells me where his ears are going to be. All these shapes will fit together, and by measuring one thing off of another. You know, it's kind of complex. You know, drawing is not really easy. I mean, it takes many years of practice and, you know, school to teach you how to draw. If you're doing this just for fun, I would, you know, recommend, hey, just trace it or transfer it over, you know, right away off the photograph. But if you really want to learn to draw, then you have to learn all these little things that I've been saying to you to be able to draw a good drawing. It takes, like, you know, I went to art school for about 5 years, and I took mostly drawing classes because I like to draw, you know. That was the most fun for me. And also illustration courses. But that's where, you know, it takes many years of drawing, and you start to see things, you start to understand. You know, the people, the artists, the teachers will all say, you know, you have to be able to see this and see that. And, you know, you're thinking, what, see what, you know? But after you've been doing it for a long time, you see, oh, okay, wow, you know, I see what they're saying. I see where I'm off. I see why I'm doing this. And, well, all the things that I've told you before, like get up and stand back and look in your mirror. And, well, I didn't do it. I was just drawn away, and I realized that my drawing was off. You know, it is quite elongated. And so I had to make corrections. The face, the bottom upper lip was off by probably about 1/2 inch. The nose was 1/4 inch too long. The ears were way too big and too far out. So anyhow, when I finished, this is what the corrections came out looking like. At first it looked kind of weird because it looked really short, but this is the correct drawing because, you know, I measured things out, and this was the way it really was supposed to be. So anyhow, if you know, I'll recommend, if you wanted to look at somebody who draws structurally, look at Bridgman. It's all figure drawing, but it doesn't really matter if it's you're drawing a human being or if you're drawing a tiger or a lion. It's all the same thing. You're drawing shapes and, you know, all that. But Bridgman will teach you by looking at them, how to draw movement and also form, all in line. Now, if you were interested in drawing values, I'd look at Vanderpool. He has a book out also. No, he doesn't really have one. He's probably about 150 years ago. But anyhow, you look those two guys up, and you can buy the books over on Amazon or whatever. And I think that would really help you understand all the little things that I've been probably trying to say here. They'll probably do a lot better job than I have. But anyhow, so at this point here, I'm still trying to establish the light. Okay, on my final piece, I want the light to be. I want to understand where all my lights are going, because this is going to be doing a drawing on dappled lighting, and I don't want to be on my final piece and then be guessing, where these things are going to be going. So that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm deciding, okay, this is where the hair is going to go, but this is where the light is going to be hitting his forehead. And remember that's when you get to that finished piece, you don't want to have any guessing. You want to have all, I don't want to be surprised. Some artists work with spontaneity. Oh, wow, look at, what came out here. Well, I don't, What I want is, I want things to be exactly the way I had planned it to be, the way I saw it in my mind's eye. So I make all the decisions here, all my mistakes here, all my erasing here, because it doesn't matter if you erase here or not. So anyhow, I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be transferring this over onto a pastel paper. This is Clairefontaine Pastel Matte Light Gray. I worked in pastel pencils. They were Derwent pencils and Carbo Othello pencils. And I transferred it over with carbon paper. Just regular carbon paper. It erases and it doesn't show up unless you're planning on using white. So this is the finished piece. And I hope the dappled lighting worked out here. I think it did. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. And if you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks again.